My family always tells me to get a job. It doesn't matter what I do with my life, the number one important thing I should be doing is getting a job according to my family. It's so frustrating. And my grandma's the worst, she's always on my case about it. I just nod my head, say yes and move on with my life. I feel so bad about it because everyone else in my family has a job, they're doing something with their lives and I'm not. I know I'll have to buckle down and at least start with a job, hopefully not for long. I should have known about the whole scripted thing long ago because in about 2014 I went to this class called Jobs for Life. Guy was so stupid, but some reason I didn't fall for the job script. I ran into MJ's and it's the best decision I've ever made. I can remember thinking when I was 19, oh, this isn't so bad, at least I get the weekends off. MJ has completely given me new options, so I'm forever grateful. Have you ever held a job? Do you realize that a job can have the inside scoop to opportunities you wouldn't find sitting at home? Do you know a job can help instill discipline and a good work ethic? Do you know a job can teach you things you'd never know? Do you know a job can teach you the relative value of money? I just made $150 for 10 hours of backbreaking work. And this dinner for my friends is $150, or 10 hours of my life. Maybe your family isn't begging you for a job in the literal sense, they want to see you get the other stuff. I second MJ's response. I own a business now. This would never have been possible without the string of mostly awful jobs I held. I did landscaping and learned that I never wanted to have a job that required me to be in 100+ degree heat all day. So I started working at Chick-fil-A, where I realized fast food is one of the most thankless jobs out there, so I got a job waiting tables, until I got sick of the crazy hours and working until 3 a.m., so I got a job selling cars, where I got annoyed at my lack of control over so many things like product quality, brand perception, etc. So I got promoted and started buying cars, going to auctions, etc. And I liked this but saw the opportunity to buy independently as a contractor for many dealerships, where I worked 3 days a week and made more money, which I loved until I started my own dealership and now run that full time. Not fast lane in the sense that it's time-sucking, but very rewarding and on the right path now. Every job I held before took me to where I am now. When I started my working career, I would have never even guessed I would be anywhere close to the industry I'm in. But life is a path and you just have to start walking it. I'm sure MJ never would have guessed that his $1 million idea would be a limo service website. But he was just walking the path, doing life. Go do something. Oh, I thought from that a job was the worst thing you could get, lack of control, no pay raise increase above 3%, horrible people to work with, so I've been trying to avoid a job at all costs. Well, I'll just have to get on that. I think from my post you will have surmised that yes, a job sucks. Working for others sucks. Making money for someone else sucks. But look at MJ, the guy that wrote. What did he have before he had his big idea, and his big business? A lot of crappy jobs. He shares the gory details of those jobs in his book. You can't ignore the process. The process is not waiting for the right idea, mooching off of others until you can find a way to be profitable, or bouncing from $1 million idea to $1 million idea. The process involves getting out and working, hustling, doing what you have to do. Your mindset is correct in that you desire more in life than to work for someone else. That's great. But to get to that goal, sometimes you have to be in the trenches first. It's hard to have the right motivation to work for yourself unless you have truly experienced what a soul-suck having a job can be. Most lessons in life have to be learned firsthand. Please don't let this discourage your entrepreneurial passions. Everyone here wishes for you to succeed. The path to success might just have more bends in it than you at first imagine. Since you ignored the question, I'm gonna guess you never had a job. Also, is don't get a job the main message you took from? If so, you might want to read it again, and then follow it up with, if you don't have a job, where is your money coming from? How are you surviving? If you are living from the pocket of the people telling you to get a job, they really have a right to be saying that. If you are independent, earning your own way from a business venture, why do they care? I have a funny feeling it's the former. LOL. Getting a paycheck would be a great benefit for many entrepreneurs in the first year of business. No, I'm not even joking. It, depending on industry, take years before you have enough free cash flow to pay yourself. A pay rise and income is better than being a bum with no job. There's levels to this. I always love your responses. Straight to the point, no BS or pampering. Getting a job is not necessarily a bad thing. Just don't allow your ambition to stop there. One big advantage is that it can expose you to a lot of problems or opportunities in the marketplace. Seeds for new businesses. Dude. I'm 20. At 18, right after high school, I got a job in probably the shittiest manufacturing warehouse you could find. They would hire anyone off the street. Felons, no education, etc. People smoking weed behind the building during lunch, prison tough style attitudes. That shit sucked, 60-hour weeks, sweating all day with no AC in the warehouse, hard labor and minimum wage. It was almost depressing, honestly. Monday to SAT, mandatory overtime daily. The good thing is, it led me into my next warehouse job, which was slightly better. Fast forward 5+ shitty jobs, and I've recently found a job working for a wholesale distributor of a certain niche. They liked me, saw my work history, and decided to hire me as the go-to utility guy, in case someone goes down. They are teaching me. I'm learning purchasing, working on their website, retail website too, product photos, shipping and receiving, which was where the bulk of my experience was, Photoshop, marketing, accounting, cold calling businesses to sell to. This is so f***ing valuable to me and the business I'm building. I'm seeing shit that I was planning to do. It's literally shit I used to overcomplicate and stress out about in my head, but now that I see them just doing it, it's like, hey, I could do that no problem. I'm also getting into the niche that my last job, wholesaler and retailer, was into. LOL. Not only is there knowledge gained, but having a job instills some sort of hustle in me. When you get off at 5 or 6, you kinda just don't wanna waste your day, go to sleep, and wake up to do it again. It's depressing. Of course, with no job, this sense of urgency doesn't exist. They would have never hired me if it wasn't for all the shit jobs I've had in the past. The money of course helps building my business too, way too annoying without some sort of fixed income trying to build something. Lol, that was your only takeaway from the book. If I had a child in their 20s living under my roof doing nothing, I would tell them to get off their ass and find a job also. Can you blame them? Sounds like you had your FU moment, which led to a great opportunity and excellent potential for the future. Well done, man. If I have to tell my child in their 20s who is living under my roof to get off their ass and find a job, I obviously screwed up as a parent. Seeing people 2x plus my age sweating their asses off for minimum wage definitely had an effect on the choices I want to be making. Listening to a 50-year-old dude brag about his 75-cent pay rise isn't very inspiring. I just don't want to let a job that I temporarily get go on for years and years, possibly even decades. My parents are so miserable at theirs, that's the last thing I want, but yes, process takes work, so I agree. Oh no, I didn't ignore the question in my profile. I proudly say I'm a bank teller. I just have a resistance to doing things the boss's way, which could make me get fired, but I'm trying to suck it up. The longest I've held a job so far is about 2 weeks, the other job's 4 days, and then the third job 3 days, so hopefully I can stick with something. Takes years. I want to be like MJ and have things a lot faster than that. Well, if a bum with no job is a bank teller, guess I'm a bum. I guess I'm too afraid of getting used to a paycheck and getting comfortable. I've seen too many lives turn out that way. How was the single pay period check? And what did it afford you? When your parents tell you to get a job, what they really want for you is for you to do something positive and productive with your life. This of course will require action on your part. I ask my daughter all the time if she is thinking like the 99% or the 1%. The 1% works hard regardless of what their job is. They move forward every day and they don't make excuses for inaction. They are not victims, they own 100% their actions and therefore they own 100% of their lives, good or bad. They own it. I believe everyone owns their own business, including people who work a job. If you have a job, you have a business. You are selling your time for money. This is a poor business model, but it's much better than not having a job. Your options are get a job or find another way to carry your own weight. You have to walk before you can run. Learn the business of selling your time for money first and move your way up the ladder to a better business model. One in which you don't work for money but money works for you. BTW, it's not going to be easy or comfortable, but it certainly will be worth it. Just know what you want out of it and you should be fine. Most of us full-time entrepreneurs have held jobs before at some point. If you have the right mindset, it won't hurt. MJ's total process took a lot longer than you're thinking. All the crappy jobs he held were part of his process. I don't know the timeline exactly, but I'm sure in total from the beginning of his working career to his starting his company was probably a decade at most. Marco can probably clarify the exact time. The point is that overnight success doesn't exist. I've yet to hear your game plan for how you are going to accomplish your fast lane dreams. Do you have one idea you wish to pursue? What unique value do you know you can bring to this world? I was gifted to have parents who didn't push me to go to college. I was blessed with a family that themselves are entrepreneurs. I wanted what they had, and even though I watched my dad grind through years of process to get where he was, I just wanted the results. I had to go out and work crappy jobs to gain the life experience and the wisdom and the true motivation to pursue the process, the grind. It doesn't come naturally. I get that you see your parents and you don't want what they have. But obviously your desire to not work a 9 to 5 is pretty massive. So I don't think you should be afraid of losing your motivation to be fast lane just by getting a real job. It might make you want it even more. Also, this may or not be true, but you seem to think that somehow building a business is less work than working for someone else. Sorry, this isn't the case. It takes major balls, sucks tons of time, and can be an emotional roller coaster. I am less financially stable than I was as an employee. I work way longer hours than I ever did as an employee, but I'm building my business, one that will eventually serve me instead of me serving it. This takes time and tons of it. I hope you take these replies to heart. Everyone here wants you to succeed, but your mindset as it sits is warped. Sorry to break it to you, but it is. Not trying to be mean. But look at the feedback you've gotten so far. Obviously, you have a lot of work to do. Hold the job as a bank teller and do what your boss says. Someone with a lot of motivation, time, and money created the environment and system you're working in. They are smarter than you. Your job is to be the best employee you can be. If you live at home, awesome, you can save your paycheck. You're going to need it to fund your business. Please reply with just one thing you think you could do that would create massive value for the world. If you can't, then you need to keep working and saving money till you figure it out. My last note. And don't think I'm beating you up. I say this out of love and a desire to challenge you. Do you feel that your focus is selfish? Or selfless? It seems like your motives are selfish to me. I want, I don't want, etc. Stop thinking about what the hell you want. You'll get nowhere with that mentality. If you can't serve your employer, how will you serve the world around you? You need to shift your mind from selfish thinking to analyzing the needs of others and serving and loving others. Life isn't about you and no one cares what you want. Serve your employer. Serve your family. Serve your community. Show people you care about them. This is all that matters. The rest will come. I have 2 college degrees, and I have done all of the following: delivered newspapers, delivered pizza, scrubbed toilets, sold hot dogs, worked in factories, worked as a nanny and chauffeur in one of the biggest cities in the US, worked as a house cleaner, worked 15-hour shifts as a fast food manager, worked at really basic office jobs, and volunteered. I didn't like any of that, except for the manager is entitled to free food thing at the FF job. After I escaped from all that, I started my own business badly and it has served as my slow lane job, because I am still trading time for money and it's not lucrative. It's better than scrubbing toilets, and I am doing it while I start my next venture, because I still need to eat. Even if you are unemployed, if you live with someone else, you should be doing house cleaning, doing cooking, doing anything that makes whoever is supporting you more inclined to help you out. Doing volunteer work. Doing the grocery shopping. If you're going to take down time, spend it reading. It almost doesn't matter what, because almost every book can teach you something, although you should take another look at reading, because some of the lessons seem to have been missed. My point is that succeeding is more about doing things you don't want to, which MJ said in one of his books. Things you don't want to include working crappy jobs because they serve a larger purpose. I've read a lot of your posts and threads so far. You keep praising MJ, TMF, and Unscripted for changing your life, but tell me, what actions are you actually implementing since reading? It doesn't seem like any, to be honest. Basically $300 per job. None of them's been over $7.35 to 8.25 max, and I bought and some other books mostly about Oprah. You're totally right. If I hadn't been so stubborn by choosing to not sell my time for money, I might have had the cash today to have bought at least a little freedom. Now I don't really have any. Yeah, I know MJ doesn't believe in frugality, but I want to stay 100% debt-free even if I don't have the nice car or house to impress others. Wow. Just letting all that sink in. I'm crying right now. You're right, I've been, or currently am, selfish. I wanted things just for my pleasure, not to serve others. I'll admit it. Well, I saw a video the other day on YouTube about how the government collects money. It said 50% comes from one source, 33% comes from another source, 10% comes from another source, 4% comes from another source, and 3% comes from another source. I don't currently have a product in mind, but I was considering using the $400,000 a month that MJ spoke about and pricing it according to that 5 criteria. One product for 50% or $200,000, one product for 33% or $132,000, one product for 10% or $40,000. One product for 4% or $16,000, and one product for 3% or $12,000. Now what products those will be, I don't know, but at least I have a pricing strategy. I think the business would be less work because I'll be the only employee, and if someone's interested in the products, I won't need much scale because they're priced with magnitude, which is something MJ endorses. There is good debt and there is bad debt. Don't fall into the Dave Ramsey mindset that all debt is bad, because it is not. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Recommend you read it if you have not. Defines the difference between good debt and bad debt very well. The rich use debt as leverage to buy and invest in larger assets to create more wealth. Agree, but do you know how many lazy-ass parents let their kids mooch off them, living with them, doing nothing with their lives up until their 30s, even 40s? It exists, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I give a bit of props for her parents telling her to get moving, and if I had a kid still living at home doing nothing, By the time they're 25, I would probably kick them out of the house. Top, go get a job, go work, figure yourself out and save some money up. When the right time comes along and you have a bit of money to play with, try something, and if it fails, at least you're not in debt. This is how most of us have done it here, including myself. You think MJ grew up not working for anyone and all of a sudden began making hundreds of thousands a month out of sheer luck? He worked, he grinded. His job as a limo driver is what paved his way with. Stop wasting your time doing nothing at home and go work. If you're interested in a specific niche or industry which you believe one day you can make a business out of, go out and apply for jobs and work there so you can gain some experience in the field and save money at the same time. Best of luck. There's some great suggestions and replies in this thread, hope you take action upon them. I don't think MJ would fight you on that. Controlling expenses is key in the beginning. It's just that alone is not enough. You also need to explode revenues if you're going to become financially free. When that happens, you still control expenses, but it becomes easier. They're being hard on you because it's apparent that you don't have enough experience and they deem that you're not capable of independence yet. You sound very young and naive. That's why they are drilling some sense into you. Now that you're very sure that you don't want to have that kind of life, you can bet on yourself on that. It's not gonna stay that way. If you're gonna get a job, get into the front line of the sales aspect of the business. On the other hand, if you decide to do otherwise, figure out a hustle of your own and create your own business. Who says you can't? You have to start small and you have to start somewhere. Your family wants you to get a job. Your family here in the FLF wants you to become someone who will be able to run her own business. You came in here complaining, that's why you got heat directed at you. We don't do that and we don't like that from anyone. Work on yourself and your attitude and you'll be well on your way. Tanisha. Yeah, but if anything goes wrong the payment is stuck with me. That makes much more sense. I understand. So don't let it. You are in control. A job is a means to an end. Don't worry about things that haven't happened yet. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. Mark Twain. So true. I need to worry less. Worry is just fear. You need to confront that or you will never take action. It sounds to me like you are in a rut and you need to get out of it. Write down your goals and commit 100% towards achieving them. Then every day write them down again and commit again. Even if it is just one little step every day, you will be amazed at your progress over time and it will make you feel better doing so. BTW. Also commit to your education. Education can be school if school has the information you require to move towards your goals, but education can also be books, YouTube, wise counsel, mentors, or even a job. Let me give you an example of how a job can be education. Let's say you want to own a pizza franchise. Getting a job at your local pizza franchise and working your way up to being the manager would be a great way to educate yourself on what it takes to run and own a pizza franchise, and they will pay you to get that education. The bottom line is take action today and start moving towards your goals consistently every day. I want to know in your next post what you have done today and what you are going to do tomorrow. All the best. Well, I plan on letting go of the poor me victim mentality and just take responsibility for the choices that has led to my lack of financial resources. No one made me spend money, no one made me decide to work less, it was all me. Huh? You have a pricing strategy for a product that doesn't exist, in a business that doesn't exist, from an idea that has yet to exist. Seriously, before you start seeing any success you need to change your expectations and your mindset insofar as what it takes to pursue a business that actually adds value in the world. All I sense now is a search for shortcuts. Time for some soul searching. If you can't follow directions or meet expectations for a straightforward job like bank teller, how do you expect to meet the ever more demanding expectations of the market? I was once a young guy that thought I knew better than everyone I worked for. At some point I realized that, as it turns out, other humans have something to teach me. It doesn't mean I want to work for someone else's money for the rest of my life, just the simple realization that sometimes others know better than I do. In fact, not sometimes. A lot of times. To be honest, getting or having a job will actually increase your drive for entrepreneurship. As much as I hated my job, it offered the opportunity to master important aspects of life which are the basis of my biz. Also, it introduced me to adulthood and taught me how to deal with people from all walks of life. As you'd recognize, entrepreneurship is about doing same. Surely, having a job can feel stifling, but it grants an opportunity to recognize the things we can do better, as it may assist us in building a. Also, to be honest, this is a way parents express their love for us. They simply want to see us succeed. Yes, the things they recommend may not specifically be, but these are the things they know or understand. Sometimes we just got to do these things temporarily, and quietly. We grind while making movements with our businesses, etc. Then, as time goes, they'd see us unfolding with the important things we may have been working on alongside our jobs. Having your job too will assist in covering costs which may come up in building your, as it is necessary to not only survive while doing so, but you may have to purchase specific hardware, software and other repurchases as you go through the process or progress to keep it flowing. As we know, the success doesn't happen overnight. I know oftentimes when you post, you strongly speak against this scripted life, that you just don't understand how people can live with it, but then, to a point, you panic off the same items of script that you are against. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have concerns about particular things, but trust me, when you reach the level of making huge investments as MJ would have recommended in the book, you would be so versed in what you are doing that you will know when and how to move your money. The basis of companies are purpose-driven or value-centered. Sure, most of them may not specifically word it this way, but this is the basis of how the successful companies thrive, as well as their owners who do the type of investments you are speaking about. Sure, you complain about having a job. You complain about your parents being on your back. You complain about what the government is saying about investments, yet you haven't exactly proven to yourself that you hold a solution to these complaints. Every individual is capable of building successful companies, but not everyone is willing to go through with it. This is so because there are processes, failures, lessons and growth that comes with the territory. If you desire to go the path of living, then this is a reality you'll have to come to terms with and move with the tides as they come. Yikes, I was not expecting that reaction. I thought it would be pretty sound. Once I get going on it, I'll make sure I provide enough value plus some to demand those prices. Yeah, I'm still learning new things every day. Some are things I never thought I'd be learning, like how Amazon runs a billion-dollar company. I think you should get a job, as it will teach you what actual work is. Then you will soon realize that you don't want to be a wage slave for the rest of your life, and maybe it will give you the firepower needed to start executing on a business plan. For me personally, I would not have been able to come up with the idea for my business if it wasn't for my education and my career. It has helped me learn what to do and how to do it. I am literally paid to learn and practice. I also do think having a job when you're young is a great thing because, like others have said, it teaches you discipline, and gives you drive to do better things next. Best of luck. Some people can put up with it for decades. How? Very simply, the world needs both consumers and producers. Many people are very comfortable in their jobs, and others like us want to stop working much earlier than everyone else. When you have a purposeful and meaningful job, yes, it's work, but it's also something else. If you're a janitor and you keep a huge school building running like a top day in and day out so kids can come to a warm school and learn, I bet you get satisfaction out of that. If you're a nurse and you take care of sick babies all night long, again, you live a life of purpose too. I don't particularly care for my job, but at my work there are employees celebrating 58, 59, and 60 years with the company this year. One lady claims she hasn't taken a single sick day since 1957, she loves what she's doing and doesn't want to retire. At this point in her life, retiring would kill her. I'm only 26 and I've been steadily employed since I was 15 years old. My target to exit the workforce is at age 36, which gives me 10 years to gather enough wealth where I can do that. But realistically I could retire with a cabin in the woods and be very content, whereas others are after a Maserati and a beach villa. In any case, it took a decade of working many different jobs to reach a personal consensus that life is precious, and I no longer want to be a part of the rat race. It will take a while for you too, but remember that you are young and have lots of years ahead of you to do what you need to do. Every first step is a step closer to your goal. Step 1, get a job somewhere. Start saving everything you can. Live frugal now and spend on your business endeavors later. Solve every next problem on a case-by-case basis. You have a wonderful perspective on life. I really appreciate your wisdom. I worked a job for 24 years. Started at the age of 13. Learned a lot and enjoyed it. Your family were not frustrating you, is because they love you and they want the best for you and your future. You need to thank them for that, especially your grandma. Maybe I'm just a spoiled millennial. Okay, I'll be more grateful. Not judging, just saying. I'm going to be an ass. Sorry. Not only does everything you are posting sound lazy as hell, but now it sounds like you are trying to say it's not your fault because of your generation? Really? Your attitude screams I hate work and don't want to do it, and you can't make me. This is not a trait of good entrepreneurs. It's a trait of a child who thinks work is someone else's responsibility. If you read more, you will pretty clearly see that most entrepreneurs didn't avoid work, they were often the hardest workers. The best. Employers loved them. They busted their ass on the job, added value wherever they could, worked overtime as needed, consulted with management on issues they thought they could help with, volunteered, and in general they kicked a dollar. When they were out of work they busted ass to find work. Or they freelanced. Or they hustled. Tell me, what was the last thing you kicked ass at? Or busted ass for? Do you have any history of adding value to other people's lives? Do you help others when there is no gain in it for you? When was the last time you got your hands filthy effing dirty, figuratively or literally, whatever, to get a job done for no other reason than it needed doing and you could do it? Do you volunteer? For anything? For anyone? I guarantee you that if you look at the top entrepreneurs on this forum, their attitude screams I work. The ones gloating about not working for other people do so because entrepreneurship is going to be many, many, many times harder, more frustrating, more exhausting, and with longer hours than a normal job. You will feel lost. Nobody will be there to tell you which direction to go. Nobody will tell you a decision is right or wrong. Almost every answer you will ever receive will be well, it depends. Some weeks, months, and even years will have you earning less than even a modest job. You may make $1,000 in a week only to look at the numbers and see your expenses were $900. Or $1,200. Or $2,000. When shit breaks, you are the person who fixes it. If your website is broken and you can't pay to have it fixed, well, you better put on your coding glasses, because guess what? You're a code now until it's fixed. It's work. Hard, thankless, frustrating, confusing, depressing, expensive, lonely work until one day you figure it out and something works and you make a killing, or see a nice lucrative exit. But that freedom is on the other side of hard work and adversity. Also, what's your skill set that makes you believe you can bypass traditional employment? Clearly, if you are fighting against working for others so hard, it must be because you know how to make money without it, right? What's your plan for money before you become successful at your own business? Can you afford to live on your own? Or do you expect mommy and daddy to let you live rent-free, with free food, adding no value to the family so that you can read books on Oprah while you figure something out? I want you to be here. I want you to start your own business. I want to see you successful and killing it and living the high life. I do, and we do. But your attitude is broken. You aren't thinking things through. You are acting childish. If you do not have a real plan that makes sense with realistic expectations, then for everyone's sake, including your own, get a damn job and work on starting something on the side. Funnel all income to your side project. Use it as seed money to build your business and build experience and get successful to a point where quitting won't be something you dream of. It will be the thing you do because it's a waste of time that is actually costing you more money than it brings in. Good luck. Thanks. I didn't want to be that guy this time. I vote #landfill. Let this thread rest in peace. What makes you so sure you aren't that guy? Lol, where do you think FTEs come from? You're not going to have playing Overwatch at home and working your way through a large, Chicago-style pizza while somebody else pays to keep the lights on and the internet working. My dad used to ask me when I was younger, if money was no object, what 5 things would I be doing? Maybe to get the ball rolling, list 5 things you would be doing jobs. Also what 3 that no one in your friend group or family knows more about than you. Things that just naturally make sense. Well, since I'm a girl or woman, you're lucky I'm thinking about making my own money at all. I could sit at home and have my future husband pay for everything, which is how you're treating me, but I'm not like that at all. I'm smart, able to do well with reading, and I'm highly educated. I love your sense of humor. Well, honestly, work and me have just never gotten along, so I want that part to be as short as can be. I just like relaxing by the beach, tanning, shopping, luxury items. Am good at reading. You're joking with us, right? So lousy. I play grammar police, but you can't even make the effort to post in actual sentences. No capitalization, no periods, just 400 characters separated by scattered commas. Sorry, but I find your posts very difficult to read. Holy shit, if it wasn't for all the previous posts before, I would think she was a troll. She's just delusional. She probably has a part-time job as a bank teller. All the money she earns she spends on herself. Her family is telling her to get a job as in full-time job. If her family is pressuring her to get a job, is because she's not helping with the bills, rent or food. She's using MJ's books as an excuse to not have a job. Well, you see, Mom, this millionaire says that a job is for losers, so she makes her bosses fire her or quits herself. Just because you read a few books, it does not mean you're a millionaire. So stop acting like you are while leeching off your family. LOL. Wow, useless. I think everyone on this forum wasted their time giving you worthy advice. You're definitely at the wrong forum. Go find some sugar daddy website and hook up with an 80-year-old, all of your dreams will then come true. #landfill. Lol, good luck and just go make babies then. I highly doubt the rest of what you say. I like relaxing by the beach, reading and selling luxury items to people like you, who can't afford them but want them to impress their friends. Mic drop. Doesn't matter. There are lots of awesome, successful, hard-working women on this forum. 1. You can't write a simple sentence. 2. My 7-year-old son is also doing well with reading. I was hoping you'd take everyone's comments to heart and have the self-awareness required to self-reflect on everything said. Instead, you've acted indignant about the whole thing. Clearly there is no progress to be made here. No growth happening. I agree with marking this #landfill at this point. This is blatant trolling. I thought you had a change of heart in the other. Guess I'm wrong. You a second coming. Okay, I figured it out. This is really Boris messing with us, pretending to be a dingbat. Well, I love all those things and I want the money for it as fast as possible, don't we all? Wow, let's be respectful of each other. Be respectful. Why do you hate me for no reason? Well, I wasn't born to impress you. Being wealthy requires work. Work to create the wealth. Or if you get it handed to you, work to learn how to keep the wealth. You're either a genius troll or completely ignorant. You said you're grateful for MJ, and yet it's obvious what you've read has gone through one ear and out the other. Except for what you wanted to hear. No one can take you serious on this forum now. You're not ready to head down the road of entrepreneurship yet. You're providing zero value to everyone here, except for the humor in your posts for how dumb they sound, which is quite hilarious. Get a job. Be the best at the job you can be. Learn discipline and how to get shit done. And then, years from now, when you've become a completely different person, someone with more maturity and character, reread the books and come back to this forum to start your journey fresh. My parents tell me to get a job all the time now that I've graduated. I've worked a lot in the past and I've learned a lot from it. I've saved up enough money to be able to work on business without having to work for someone else for some time. So now I can choose to not work and buy time that way. But working has its advantages. For example, you get to know people and form social relationships. If you haven't worked much, then maybe it's worth it, as the other people have said. It's also worth it if you don't have money for living expenses. I'm not gonna landfill something that has some incredible responses, and a few others. Troll or not, what you guys wrote is legendary and can help others. Posts like these makes me wonder about the human mind, and how it changes with time. Can we ever actually help someone who is not ready to be helped? Are our efforts futile? Do we have to have a certain level of self-awareness to realize we may be wrong, and open-mindedness to learn from others to become successful entrepreneurs? Well, of course we do, but if a person does not have them, can these traits be learned if a person is already in adulthood with their perspectives already cemented in? Of course, I believe it's never too late for anyone to change, but self-awareness is so key that if you don't have some of it, I'm not so sure. I've never seen anyone in my entire life make a drastic change in perspective who didn't already have those traits above. What's Dunning-Kruger effect? If not for the shitty jobs I've had in the past, I wouldn't be on the path I am on right now. A path in search for a means to employ myself, build a business, and get on that fast lane. Because every time I went into work, all I could think about is how much I didn't want to do this bullshit right here for a living. It fed my desire and ambition to seek out an alternative. Having a job isn't a bad thing. It's all the other shit that come with it that suck. I think if everyone could find a job that was perfect, they'd be content, but those don't exist. People get jobs and they settle. The difference between them and the fine folks on this forum is we refuse to be content and we refuse to settle. Our families hound us about jobs because that's all they know. They don't know there are other means to make ends meet and to do way better than a 9-to-5. Fighting them about it is like trying to convince a child there is no Santa. They've been fed the lie is all they know, and your challenging them does nothing but make them frustrated and angry. And at 19 you have nothing to back up your argument because you are 19 and know jack and shit. You haven't done jack and shit yet. As much as you want to start on your journey to the fast lane, you have to think about the metaphor. You don't just speed onto a highway at top speed. You have to yield, take it slow, merge, then start on your way. Get a job, as much as it sucks, and put in even more work when the job is over. Pay your dues until you reach a point where you don't have to do the 9-to-5, then get ready to pay even more dues as an entrepreneur. Many successful people had day jobs while they nurtured the projects that made them millions. So don't think you can skip the process. If a job is required in your life, then get one. Well, thank you for not being nice to me, I truly do appreciate it. Tanisha, when I first started reading this thread I was thinking, okay, here is someone trying to get out of her situation and make a better life for herself. But as I kept reading your responses, my opinion turned into, here is someone who is lazy and wants the easy life without working for it. People here will help people who are willing to help themselves. Many of the things you've posted just make me think that you are just lazy. You say that you are educated and smart and hardworking, but I don't see any evidence of this. Why do you think this thread has gone from a lot of helpful replies to people wanting to put it into the landfill? You have only been able to hold a job for 2 weeks. Jobs are easy. If you can't hold a job, how do you ever expect to run a business? Running a business is way harder than going to a job, working 8 hours and going home. So if you can't work a simple job, don't even think about starting a business. What about this response? Well, since I'm a girl or woman, you're lucky I'm thinking about making my own money at all. I could sit at home and have my future husband pay for everything, which is how you're treating me, but I'm not like that at all. I'm smart, able to do well with reading, and I'm highly educated. So you want credit for being a woman that wants to be independent? Please. Nobody gives a shit what gender you are. Then finally, well, honestly, work and me have just never gotten along, so I want that part to be as short as can be. I just like relaxing by the beach, tanning, shopping, luxury items. Am good at reading. What does this say about you? You and work don't get along, but you want all the things that come as a result of hard work. This is what lazy people say. Quite honestly, your best chances right now, with your current attitude, would be to buy a lottery ticket. You really need a mindset change, and everyone has been telling you that. But you have so many mental barriers that you aren't ready to even begin your journey. Fine, whatever, I'm a bad person. Incorrect. Try again. Here, let me show you a mature response. What people here expect and want to hear from tough love replies. Thanks for this, everyone. I really appreciate all the responses about hard work. I guess I got too caught up thinking about the freedom at the end of the tunnel that I never really stopped to think about how hard it would be to get there. I thought this life would be a lot easier than everyone says, and that I could avoid putting in the work and just skip to the end. I want the money, I want the lifestyle, but I guess I also need to learn how to want the long hours and hard work that needs to come first if I want any of that. I really wasn't thinking this through and thought I was just saying what everyone here wanted to hear. I never really thought about how much money I would need up front and where that money would come from. I just thought I could start a business and start rolling in cash like you hear all the stories talk about. I never really considered that I'd need some source of income to start and grow something valuable. Speaking of value, I never stopped to think about how anything I get is a result of helping others and adding value. I should really focus on how I can help people and solving problems. I think what I'll do is work a year as a bank teller, kick as much ass as possible, learn as much as possible, and maybe ask some of my managers if they'll help me learn a bit about success. Some of them seem really well off. I'll save up every dollar I have and not buy anything for myself for an entire year. At my salary, that should be about $20, $30. Then I can start something on the side and grow it while keeping my job in case it doesn't work out. I'll keep investing every dollar into my business from my job until I don't need the job anymore and can quit when it's worth quitting, and I can be proud of it because I know I'll have earned it. So sorry everyone, I've been really selfish and turned every attempt at help into something about myself. I can be really emotional, and it's hard to hear that I'm doing things wrong and thinking about this all backwards. I'll stop posting for a while, read as much as I can, and take all your advice to heart. I've only read X, Y, and Z so far as it relates to business and personal development. Does anyone have a good starting book list I can focus on while I learn? It seems I have a long way to go and would love to put my reading skills to good use for a change. I'll also try to use grammar in my replies. I suppose if I keep saying I'm an awesome reader and super smart, I should start showing it somehow, right? Thanks everyone, sorry for being such a pain the last few weeks on here. Please don't give up on me while I grow and learn on this journey. I'm still young and have a long way to go. Or I'm a bad person. Whatever. You do. Drop the mic. Grandma is probably a baby boomer. There is no job security like in their generation. You can work 3 part-time jobs and still not be where grandma was at the same age. Your mom and dad followed the previous generation's mentality, Generation X, and we found out in 2008 the world was changing, and had to unlearn a lot of crap, and millennials were learning the new stuff. They mean well, and sure, you can probably find a job to give you some income and possibly contribute to a fast lane experience. As my son is going to college for engineering and technology, works part-time job. They both are part of the process to get where he wants to be. And at the same time, he's learned also the fast lane through me sharing it with him. When he's at the right place in time, it would be easy to take all 3 and build his own empire. Getting any job for now isn't your future at your age. It just gives you work experience. It teaches you how to interact with different personalities and customers. Skills you may use in entrepreneurship. Any job in 2017 will never be your final answer. It's short-term answer. Temporary. See it as a tool to life yourself up higher. Now I'm feeling jealous, lol. Brilliant, congrats. This is first-class guidance. I had to learn how to respond in this manner the hard way, although I did have help here eventually. Being a bad person is subjective, though. Just because you effed up doesn't mean you are bad. Just make the mistakes while they are cheap. You could make worse mistakes. Also, if you don't like jobs, go freelance or do e-commerce buying and reselling. I did freelance as it's like a gray area, although I made tons of mistakes, lol. I think that opportunity, discipline or ideas for a fast lane can be found anywhere. It's only a matter of execution and your willingness to solve the need. And you do not need to stay very long for a job, stay long enough to know pain points. Now to think of it, I think it's actually a blessing for me to stay on at school. I consider my academic study as a job, lol, since it's a time suckage. As a student I have access to numerous pain points, such as transport, laundry and cooking. You would have a clue on what I am working on now, lol, but that will be another story. I have been looking at a few of your posts. You remind me of myself when I first came here. I looked at the rep banks, the likes, and got all money chasey. I thought that if my rep bank was higher, I would receive more attention or prominence. So I posted like a shitass. Posted stuff that horrifies me even today. Came in and gave me a sounding. Is more polite in the sense he is more instructional. But Unum had me hard, lol, so I don't post a lot unless there's pleasantries or queries I need settled. I have yet to create a good progress thread, but I think I will complete my present route before unloading the material. Each and every bit of advice on this forum has changed my life, even if I do not apply it for my current ventures. They come from people who just want to help. To thank them and to show respect could be the best thing next to rep currency, lol. By thanking people, I have a. made friends who were outside the script zone, gotten better advice that saved my life, gotten more connections to find more pain points or pieces to the fast lane equation. Follow everything has said to the letter. Not just the reply style, the actions you promised you will do. Reps plus for you, judged. Oh my, I forgive you for making fun of me, but a lot of what you said made a lot of sense. You're the first person to reply in a non-threatening way. I truly appreciate that more than you'll ever know. I always liked you and your posts. You have a good writing style, and actually you can't even find any of my posts for the last week or so because the new moderator has landfilled every single thing I wrote about, from holiday debt to retirement, but oh well, at least they're enjoying themselves. Thank you. Much of my current writing style actually has been contributed to lots of good writers here like and the mods landfill things, not because they want to have fun at you or anything. If someone who has not yet developed his mindset came across posts that contained low quality info, and if they actually tried to use it, the results will be fatal. Look at the gold and notable posts for instance. Each one of them has the power to change lives, bring wealth and clarity to a mind, or live full of poverty. We must look for the aim of strengthening others, moving onwards and becoming better every day financially and morally. This forum is built on the basis of changing lives. Let us keep it that way, by doing things that change our lives. And that begins with the way of how we contribute, be it in the real world or on the forum. Thanks again for not sending this to the landfill. Lots of gold nuggets. You and the others really have some high hopes for the newbies. I don't find that kind of benevolence commonly. You, my friend, is why this has escaped the landfill. You think this is about a moderator enjoying themselves? Because they or we have nothing better to do? You don't get it. And I'm afraid you never will. Many folks here, including myself, have been extremely patient with you. From what you've displayed here, you've shown you are incapable of processing any feedback or constructive criticism. You don't follow instructions, and you don't respect other people's time. You're here to find there, not to learn about the grinding hard work and tough processes behind the success. Your mindset is, you demonstrated that you have a drive. Your objective is not to provide value. It is to consume luxury items. In other words, you want to consume, not produce to consume. Again, we're here to you. We're here to help each other find personal freedom and happiness, whatever that might be for the individual. And yet everything I've said and others have said you will malign into a threat or an insult. It feels that way because you have been scripted to run on, not logic, not fact, and certainly not with any self-awareness as it pertains to the real world, all of which you will need to succeed, no matter in a job or in a business. The world, or the market, is not going to change to satisfy your ego and selfish desires. You either get it, or you don't. This observation is exactly what I thought about reading your posts. I'm also a person that has had a fixed mindset for years. It just started changing in the last 4 years or so. I've been reading Mindset by Drive, Carol Dweck, and it's helped me understand some of the deeply ingrained counterproductive thought patterns I have. If you're not open to feedback from a bunch of internet strangers, Drive. Dweck is a professor of psychology at Stanford, and has studied how people learn for years. Perhaps you'd be more open to her ideas. Get the book. Very worth it. Keep an open mind. I'll just leave this here. Seems like the op doesn't care to learn, but maybe others reading are more willing. Landfill, landfill, landfill. I literally almost died laughing. Never knew. Well, I'm not really a newbie. I've read about 2 years ago. Well, what exactly do I need to change about myself? I'm working, I'm saving, I'm gonna start a business. Following all the principles, and I did a post about retirement that's pretty intelligent. Well, I like psychology, so that would be interesting. I'm not trying to be fixed in my thinking, that wasn't my intention at all. No one is trying to impress you, so landfill you. Danishu, I love you for the person who you are. Let me tell you a story. When human civilization was not that advanced, people had to work to stay alive. They had to find food, hunt on animals, and what else? They didn't have the machines or equipment we have now. Every person in the group had its own role. There wasn't a single person without work to do. The men went hunting and builded houses, while the women picked fruit in the forest, and taught the children the principles of life. It was very simplified to live back then. But guess what? And you know why? Because every single person did something to contribute to the tribe. And that made them happy. Because they knew they were valuable to other people. It gave them a sense of meaning to their life. And not only that, They knew they were growing, and that one day their children wouldn't have to work ever again because of technological advancement. That day seemed to be arrived. Many of us doesn't have to work anymore, at least not in the way people did not so long ago. But guess what? Suicide rates are skyrocketing now, same as the use of antidepressants. And you know why? Because people forget why we are here on Earth. We are not here to live off the creations of our ancestors. We are not here to chill on the beach and read a book about how to learn how to chill on the beach, which I know you didn't. We are here because we are made to. And I know you have that kind of heart. Otherwise you wouldn't care that much about your family. Because deep down inside, you want yourself to love them, because they loved you no matter what. And you know that is true. So do what you gotta do. You can't fail, because every failure you make is good, because you did it from a position of love. So what are you going to do? At this point, many respected forum members have given you some solid advice. Way more than what I would take the time out to write based on your previous or current threads or post. What you need is experience. There's a new moderator? Have I been demoted? And well, I got a good laugh from the clickbait of's last land-filled thread. Many others probably did too. All in fun. I'm quoting and replussing because I want you to read that, Tanisha. I spent all weekend working on investor presentations trying to get capital and it was so depressing. Then, got an email through the website from the wife of a police officer telling us she buys our food product to give to her husband so he has something to snack on while he works long hours in the squad car. A month or so ago, we got an email and photo from some kids in the military over in Afghanistan with our product talking about how they share it with each other. When I was a kid, the most poignant memory I have is one of my dad's customers telling me how grateful they were that there was such a decent and honest man in his profession. They told kid me how much better it made their life. That's what it's all about. The dollar signs are just proof that you've done something for someone else. Tanisha, will you please, for the love of God, use correct grammar? Start your sentences with a capital letter, end your sentences with a period, and break your posts into more than one sentence. I'm not being nitpicky, people will judge you for using poor grammar. And I don't mean people on this forum, I mean potential employers, business partners, clients, even real estate agents on Zillow or strangers on Craigslist. It matters a lot. You are so right, we all are in this together, so let's make people realize that we're not so divided after all, no matter race or anything of that nature. So you're the mean person who landfills everything I say. I knew it had to be someone heartless. Hey, update us on what you've been doing to move forward, Tanisha. We're not typing all these for nothing. Sly, you make the forum a bit funner than it already is. What are you even talking about? Well, funny or not, Vigilante says he's the moderator, and if I say one more post about retirement or whatever he's banning me, so my plan for future progress is to improve my character and perseverance when others are not very kind to me and make fun of me and make me feel like trash. Sounds like a plan. Just be more vocal about what stuff you're working on, okay? We'd like to hear it. Don't worry about them. Learn to move forward despite that. You're in a forum that wants you to win for cupcake's sake. Update us, darling, okay? Has been banned. Kind of sad in this day and age. Someone cannot take such simple instructions despite being told X times. Somehow I don't think the 8th warning would make a difference, so she has been removed on the 7th. You guys tried, and mightily hard. Take a look at the landfill if you're curious how many mulligans we handed out. Finally. No more clogging up the feed. Lol, oh man. At least she got someone to call her darling back. We tried. Wow, it's like she got dumber as time went by. Most people have shitty first posts and improve, but she went from sounding like a 20-year-old to making me think that some grammar school kid has been trolling us the whole time. You know what would make me spend a lot of rep? In a few months, a new user called Danisha2 creates an introduction thread. Hey guys, it's me again. A lot of the advice you gave me was pretty harsh. A lot of posts just made fun of me. And despite me not liking either the message or the way the message was presented, it still sounded like the best advice people gave me. At least it is given in a long, logical form with arguments. My mum just screams at me to get a job. Which I did. I'm now a part-time industrial cleaner. It sucks. I work hard and my boss seems to not be doing anything all day. He complains a lot about cleaning solutions, about inefficient work gear, about unsafe workwear. Because I got tired of the complaints, I've sat down and came up with a better cleaning solution to scrape oil off the walls. Totally boring stuff, but I showed it my boss, and he immediately paid me. I got my first sale. I really hope something along those lines will happen. Thank goodness for the landfill and ban hammer. Somehow I missed all the silliness, for which I am grateful. Thank you MJ, and the other mods. I was very disappointed when I heard the news. I thought we could save her, so to speak. But for the good of the forum, well done. And mods. A better sponge or wiping materials would be a better option. Sometimes when I wipe stuff, even with quality cleaning fluid, they still don't come off. Irks me. Good suggestion. I sincerely hope this comes true. A good booster to the format of addressing tough love. I didn't know the landfill was an actual place one could visit. I thought it was just too euphemism for thread deleted. Looking through that, wow, you guys have your hands full. Rep plus all the mods. Congrats to you. I see that you are making progress. This thread has also given you an opportunity to give back. Let me say that I've noticed an improvement in your posts, and in your attitude. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Your posts on this thread were incredible. Thanks for writing those up. Coming a bit late to this party, but the last 5 responses from the banned one leave me decidedly in the troll camp. Speaking of cleaning fluid, I think if we excerpt the better stuff from this thread and remove the posts from the person that shall not be named as well as quotes from other people responding, this could be quite a valuable resource for pointing new folks at. The most liked posts feature is a good tool there at the top. Lol. But mistakes or bloopers need to be there so that we know how the gold nuggets came about. The best lessons can come from mistakes. Getting a job, even for a week, should be a prerequisite for a bank giving you a business bank account. Mine lasted 3 days. I was brought up that it goes either work or education. I was lazy and a bit entitled, so I chose education even though I wasn't interested in that either. Come 17 I pass my UK driving test and suddenly I had a car, insurance, tax etc. all paid for by mum and dad, but no money to fuel it. I had to get a job. I lasted 3 days in that place. My parents were middle class. My colleagues were lower class. Guess who got the abuse? 3 days working my ass off for around 12 hours a day, no breaks, scrubbing dishes, pans, trays, in a sweltering hot back room with no ventilation. I passed out frequently. I was told I was not doing it quick enough, and then told I was not doing it well enough. I was threatened by the chef. I was actually abused. None of this snowflake I identify as a bicycle and you called me a man. BS that this generation feels is abuse. Payment was in cash on a Sunday. That's right, we had to drive to the pub to get paid in cash on our days off. I started on a Tuesday and so I worked Friday 3 days. Came to get my payment on Sunday, was owed £2 per hour, min wage being around £4. They gave me £20. I was supposed to be paid £72. Such a kick in the balls. Threatened by staff members if I didn't accept it. Took the money, quit. Never again. Never stepped foot in employment since. Fortunately for me, Google AdSense started around this time. Literally 3 months after I quit this job I was making 5 figures a week. But I was young and stupid and thought this would last forever. Op. Get a job. Get the worst job you can think of. Because when you are sitting at home in a plush chair looking at your triple monitor setup, thinking of taking the day off to go to the beach, think back to that shitty job, the degrading feeling knowing you are better than that you can do more, and if you don't, that's where you will be. My only regret. Not taking a puff picture of the job I had to do, because I can't mount the memory on the wall for days when I see BA and there is no one to motivate me with threats. People tell me I should get a job now. They presume I am on welfare. It is hard not to get egoic. I just ignore them. I don't want to associate with people who cannot comprehend the fast lane lifestyle. These people are a drain. The same people who tell someone who is starting a business that it won't work are the same people who key their Ferrari when it does work. The best way to deal with these people are to ignore them completely. They think life revolves around working your behind off for someone else. Please op. Get a job. Tell yourself it is only for a week. The experience it gives, and leaves you within life, is worth it. Perfect. I think that people get wrong impression about MJ they met in the book. They see him as a job-hating punk who is looking to quick buck, but real MJ is all for looking at a job as a way to get paid, to get clients, to learn work ethics and understand value of money. Do you know a job can help instill discipline and a good work ethic? Do you know a job can teach you things you'd never know? Do you know a job can teach you the relative value of money? I just made $150 for 10 hours of backbreaking work. And this dinner for my friends is $150, or 10 hours of my life. Hey, this is legitimate. Not only your family but every family, I think. Even my family always insist me to do something and earn to maintain my family well. Though we already have 3 members who are earning amount, this isn't enough. Parents always said you should do something yourself, so that in the near future you can maintain your own family. So this is the right time to find something. This is what we call FCKU position. The power to ban potential readers and customers. Awesome. I would say every family tells you to get a job. That's just life. I would say every job has skills you can use. I've worked at factories, quality products, inspections, looking for flaws, creating a product. Camera shop, photography, frames, customer service, selling a product. Restaurant customer service and quality food. Nurse aide, just about everything under the sun is included in this situation. You're responsible for other people's lives, record keeping, medications, house chores, or whatever they need done in the yard, the house, hygiene. I've worked in home care, private homes, nursing homes. They're all different. You work with different personalities. Learn to have patience, understanding, compassion, and all about customer care, because if they're not happy, you will hear about it. Mental health manager. Of course, again, you are in charge of other people's lives, medication charts, doctor's appointments, other appointments, getting people where they need to go for jobs or activities, house rules, paperwork, running a whole business, and if you don't follow procedures, restrictions, rules of the state, you get in trouble. It's all about responsibility. Meal plans, activity plans. A lot of work, but it gave me a lot of skills that have to do with entrepreneurship. I ran that whole AFC home by myself. I worked at a few department stores. Learned about ads, pricing, customer service, all departments, waste control, and all kinds of stuff from working in all the departments.